Have you ever felt like you're playing a high-stakes game at work, trying to understand what your boss, a difficult colleague, or a tough client really wants? You know there's a hidden layer to every conversation, a psychological game being played just beneath the surface. It's a modern-day labyrinth where the wrong move can cost you. This feeling of navigating complex human minds mirrors the chilling core of a modern classic. Thomas Harris's The Silence of the Lambs. What if the secrets to winning these everyday psychological battles were hidden within its dark, terrifying pages? The Silence of the Lambs, published in 1988, is more than just a legendary thriller that introduced us to the unforgettable characters of Clarice Starling and Dr. Hannibal Lecter. It's a masterclass in psychology, strategy, and mental resilience. While the story plunges us into the gruesome hunt for a serial killer, its true power lies in the lessons it teaches about understanding the human mind, facing our fears, and using intellect as our ultimate weapon. In a world filled with information overload, office politics, and hidden agendas, the principles from this dark tale are surprisingly relevant. Today, we're not just dissecting a horror story. We're re-uncovering 3 powerful psychological lessons from The Silence of the Lambs that you can apply to navigate the complexities of your own life and career. Our first lesson is a profound one. Human psychology is an unpredictable labyrinth. In the book, we quickly learn that the killer, Buffalo Bill, isn't just a one-dimensional bad guy. He has a complex, albeit twisted, backstory and a set of motivations that drive his horrific actions. Hannibal Lecter, on the other hand, is a brilliant psychiatrist, a man of culture and immense intellect, who also happens to be a cannibal. The story shatters the simple idea that people are either good or evil. It shows us that everyone, from the hero to the villain, operates within a complex maze of desires, fears, and personal history. How does this apply to your modern life? Think about your workplace. You might have a manager who seems overly critical, a colleague who is uncooperative, or a client who is impossible to please. Our first instinct is often to label them as simply difficult or bad, but this book teaches us to look deeper. That critical manager might be under immense pressure from their own superiors. The uncooperative colleague could be struggling with personal issues or feeling insecure about their role. The difficult client may have had negative experiences in the past that make them wary. They aren't villains in a story. They are complex individuals with their own internal labyrinths. Understanding this allows you to shift your approach from confrontation to strategic empathy. You stop seeing them as obstacles and start seeing them as complex puzzles to be solved. So, here's your first action step. The next time you face a difficult interaction with someone, pause before you react. Instead of getting frustrated, ask yourself one simple question. What could be their hidden motive or fear? Don't assume you know the answer. Just allow yourself to consider that there is more to their behavior than what is on the surface. This single shift in perspective is the first step toward mastering the psychological game, turning a potential conflict into an opportunity for understanding and influence. The second powerful lesson we can draw from the story is that intelligence and perceptiveness are your most important weapons. Clarice Starling is a trainee. She is sent into a world of hardened, experienced FBI agents and monstrous criminals. Physically, she is often outmatched and underestimated. She doesn't win through brute force or authority. She wins because she is exceptionally observant, intellectually sharp, and relentlessly perseverant. Her greatest power is her ability to listen, to notice the smallest details in Hannibal Lecter's cryptic clues, and to piece together a puzzle that no one else can see. She doesn't just hear Lecter's words. She analyzes his tone, his choices of vocabulary, and the subtle games he plays. Her mind is her sharpest tool, and she wields it with precision. This lesson is incredibly valuable in our tech-driven, information-saturated world. We are constantly bombarded with data, opinions, and noise. If you're in your job or your studies, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. However, like Clarice, your greatest advantage isn't just having access to information, but your ability to perceive what truly matters. It's about reading between the lines in a company-wide email, noticing the subtle hesitation in a client's voice during a negotiation, or identifying the underlying pattern in a complex set of data. True intelligence in the modern world isn't about knowing everything. It's about seeing what others miss. It's the quiet power of observation and deep analysis. When you can filter out the noise and focus on the crucial details, You gain a strategic edge that no one can take away from you. Here is your second action step, inspired directly by Clarice's method. For the next week, practice active observation in one specific area of your life. If you're in a meeting, don't just listen to what is being said. Pay close attention to body language, who speaks after whom, and what topics are avoided. If you are reading a report, don't just skim for the conclusion. Look for the outliers in the data or the subtle assumptions made in the text. At the end of each day, write down one observation you made that went beyond the obvious surface-level information. Training your perceptive muscle this way will turn it into a powerful, instinctual weapon in your professional arsenal. Our third and final lesson is perhaps the most chilling and relevant. Not all monsters are out in the open. Many hide beneath the guise of normalcy. The killer, Buffalo Bill, isn't a raving lunatic on a street corner. He lives in a normal-looking house in a quiet neighborhood. He appears ordinary enough to lure his victims into a false sense of security. The novel masterfully illustrates that the most dangerous threats are often the ones we don't see coming, hidden behind a mask of harmlessness or familiarity. This applies not just to people, but to ideas and situations as well. The most damaging career move might not be a dramatic, explosive mistake, but a slow, creeping complacency. The biggest threat to a project isn't always a sudden crisis, but the subtle, unaddressed dysfunction within the team that slowly poisons progress. In today's world, this translates to being vigilant about the normal things that can quietly cause immense damage. Think about the workplace culture. A company might have a friendly, modern office and talk about teamwork, but underneath, there could be a toxic culture of passive aggression or burnout that is accepted as just the way things are. In our personal lives, a seemingly harmless habit, like endlessly scrolling through social media, can slowly erode our focus and mental well-being. These are the Buffalo Bills of our modern existence, dangers that look so normal we daren't recognize them until it's too late. The lesson here is to cultivate a healthy skepticism and to critically examine the environments and habits you accept as standard. For your final action step, identify one perfectly normal thing in your work or personal life that might be subtly holding you back. Is it the team's habit of avoiding difficult conversations? Is it your personal tendency to procrastinate on important tasks by focusing on busy work? Is it a harmless workplace gossip culture that actually erodes trust? Once you have identified it, your task is to name it. Simply acknowledging the hidden monster is the first step to disarming it. Write it down and decide on one small change you can make this week to confront it, just as Clarice stepped into the darkness to face the danger everyone else overlooked. So, let's bring it all together. From the terrifying world of the Silence of the Lambs, we've extracted 3 actionable strategies for navigating our own complex lives. First, approach difficult people not as villains, but as complex psychological labyrinths, and seek to understand their hidden motives. Second, sharpen your intelligence and perceptiveness to be your primary weapons, allowing you to see the crucial details that others miss. And third, learn to identify the hidden monsters, the toxic but normal habits and situations that can quietly sabotage your success. Remember, the goal isn't to become a hardened cynic or a master manipulator overnight. It's about making small, consistent steps toward becoming more psychologically aware and strategically intelligent. Progress, not perfection, is how you win the game. If you found these insights valuable, please give this video a like. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So drop a comment below and tell us which of these 3 lessons you plan to apply in your life this week. And for more deep dives into the practical wisdom hidden in great books, make sure to subscribe to DreamAIReview. Thanks for watching.